at this juncture, if we aren't part of the solution, we are part of the problem. If you aren't going out there and voting, then you're complicit. If you are complacent, you're complicit.
This week, Meghan gets out the vote. The Crown Season 4 has a new release date, and Harry starts to feel his age.
What I really feel is I'm way too old for a conversation.
Stop, we're not.
No, but it's true.
Welcome to the Royal Report, everyone. I'm your host, Sharon Carpenter, and it's been another busy week for the royal family, so let's get right to the news. Last week, Harry and Meghan made their first joint appearance from their new home in Santa Barbara when they joined a video call with a group of young leaders from the Queen's Commonwealth Trust. During the 30-minute chat, the Duke and Duchess praised the participants for their efforts to make the digital landscape safer for everyone and noted how important their voices will continue to be in the future.
You guys are the definition of the 21st century Commonwealth and what it means to be part of it. You know, you are there standing for equality, for mutual respect, and for fairness. And I think that is something that every single one of you should be incredibly proud about.
Last Wednesday, Harry and Meghan made the 95-mile trek south to Los Angeles to take part in a drive-through distribution event for Baby to Baby, a non-profit organization that provides basic necessities for children living in poverty. The Sussexes don masks while helping the charity hand out books, backpacks, clothing, and other supplies to kids preparing for the start of the school year. On Thursday, Meghan joined the virtual When All Women Vote couch party to encourage participation in this year's elections. Organized alongside Glamour magazine and the gender equity organization, the United States of Women, the event also celebrated the 100th anniversary of the ratification of the 19th Amendment, which of course gave women the right to vote. But as the Duchess pointed out, not all women, and specifically not women of color.
As we look at things today, though it had taken decades longer for women of color to get the right to vote, even today we are watching so many women in different communities who are marginalized, still struggling to see that right come to fruition. And it's just simply not okay. And when we look at the attempts of voter suppression and what that's doing, it's all the more reason we need each of you to be out there supporting each other, to understand that this fight is worth fighting, and we all have to be out there mobilizing to have our voices heard.
During her 4-minute message, Meghan also discussed why she considers voting in this year's elections to be so important.
We all know what's at stake this year. I know it. I think all of you certainly know it. And if you're here on this fun event with us, then you are just as mobilized and energized to see the change that we all need and deserve.
That same day, we finally learned that season 4 of The Crown will be hitting Netflix on November 15th. Yes, the streaming service shared the news in a 30-second teaser trailer, which gave us a glimpse of 2 newcomers to the show. Emmy winner Gillian Anderson as Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher, and 24-year-old Brit Emma Corrin, who'll portray Princess Diana. Take a look. That looks amazing. Can't wait. All right, it's that time again where we step outside the House of Windsor for royals around the world. Joining us now is our intrepid international tour guide and People's Royals reporter, Stephanie Petit is here. Stephanie, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Sharon. How are you?
I'm doing well. All right, as everyone knows, here at the Royal Report, we're almost always talking about the House of Windsor, but there are 29 other reigning monarchs out there, and they deserve some airtime too. So today we're going to break down some of the biggest non-British royal stories of the past few months. Sound good?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, first up, the royal family of Luxembourg. Henri, the Grand Duke of Luxembourg, reigns here. He's been married to Maria Theresa, Grand Duchess of Luxembourg, since 1981. They have 5 children. Their oldest son and first in line to become Grand Duke is 38-year-old Prince Guillaume. Now, Stephanie, back in May, Prince Guillaume and his wife, Countess Stephanie, welcomed a new addition to the family. Is that right?
Yes, you got it. On May 10th, the couple welcomed a baby boy, and he actually shares a name with another very well-known royal. The baby's name is Prince Charles, just like Queen Elizabeth's eldest son. Now, this royal birth was a little different than we're used to due to the ongoing coronavirus pandemic. Prince Guillaume and Countess Stephanie wore masks as they left the hospital for the first time as a family of 3. And Prince Charles was able to meet his grandparents, but he met them on a video call.
Now, amidst all this happy news, I understand Prince Guillaume had to deal with a possible imposter on Twitter.
Yes, this is a strange one. We haven't heard this before. Just days after Prince Charles's birth, the palace denounced a Twitter account claiming to be Prince Guillaume's, saying it was a forgery and not to interact with it at all. Although there were no tweets sent out by the account, it's possible that the swindler was direct messaging others, perhaps looking for money. We can assume that generally they're up to no good.
Now let's head 4,500 miles across the globe to South Asia and the country of Bhutan. The House of Wangchuck has ruled Bhutan since 1907, and the current king Jigme Kaiser has been in charge since 2006. He married wife Jetson Pema in 2011, and people cannot get enough of their adorable 4-year-old son, who is known as the Dragon Prince. They welcomed their second child, a baby boy, on March 19th of this year. Stephanie, we finally got our first look and some new information about the 5-month-old this past June. Is that right?
Yes, the family's newest addition's name was not announced until after a special Buddhist naming ceremony, and the king and queen revealed that their second child's name is Jigme, again, Wangchuck. I hope that was close on the pronunciation there. Jigme means fearless, and it's the official family name that's also shared by his dad and his brother, while Wangchuck is the name of the royal dynasty. They also released their first photos as a family of 4, and the baby is in his father's arm. He looks so happy and alert, and the Dragon Prince is clearly very excited about his new role as a big brother.
Oh, too cute. Now traveling 4,000 miles northwest to the royal family of Sweden, King Carl XVI Gustaf has been ruling for 46 years alongside his wife, Queen Sylvia. Their eldest daughter, 43-year-old Crown Princess Victoria, is first in line to the throne. And in mid-July was in the news for a very exciting celebration. Stephanie, tell us more.
Yes, every year Princess Victoria's birthday is marked by a big celebration with all her family members. She usually greets members of the public, but due to coronavirus, things were really scaled down this year. After gathering for family photos, Princess Victoria was joined by her husband, Prince Daniel, and her daughter, Princess Estelle, and they attended a mini concert in her honor. They were clapping and singing along to the songs. Estelle was adorable. And of course, like any good birthday concert, it ended with a really high energy rendition of Happy Birthday.
And her younger brother, Prince Carl Philip, and wife, Princess Sophia, also had something to celebrate this summer, right?
Yes, I think a 5-year wedding anniversary is definitely a reason to celebrate. Prince Carl Philip and Princess Sophia actually gifted their fans a little something to mark the occasion. They released never-before-seen photos from their wedding, and they look so in love. It's really sweet. Now they're parents to 2 little boys, and they're spending the summer as a family exploring the outdoors. They're doing bike rides and picnics, and you can follow along with all of that on their Instagram page.
Awesome. All right, now let's go 600 miles south to the country of Denmark. Queen Margaretha II has ruled since 1972. She has 2 sons, 52-year-old Crown Prince Frederik, who is heir to the throne, and 51-year-old Prince Joachim. Now, Stephanie, Prince Joachim has 4 children, and his son, Prince Felix, recently celebrated a pretty big birthday. Give us the details.
Prince Felix of Denmark actually turned the big 18 on July 22nd, which happens to be a popular day for royal birthdays. It's also Prince George of the UK's birthday. He just turned 7. So in addition to sharing new portraits of the birthday boy, Denmark's royal family released snaps from their little celebration at home in their summer home, France.
Now, just after this special day, though, I understand his father, Prince Joachim, had a serious health scare.
That's right. It was a really scary situation. He underwent emergency surgery for a blood clot on his brain. The operation was successful, and Joachim was moved from the intensive care unit a few days after the surgery. The good news is that he's expected to make a full recovery.
Yeah, so glad he's on the road to recovery. And finally, let's head 1,500 miles south to Spain. Quick summary here. King Philippe VI has ruled since 2014 alongside his wife, Queen Letizia. They have two daughters, 14-year-old Leonor, who's the heir to the throne, and 13-year-old Sophia. Stephanie, the last time we spoke, you told us all about the financial scandal surrounding King Philippe's father, former King Juan Carlos. I understand we have an update on that story?
We do. It was announced that Juan Carlos plans to leave Spain and move to another country due to the scandal, which alleges that the ex-monarch received $100 million in kickbacks from a 2011 deal. There's no word yet on where he's planning to live, but rumors are flying. There's reports he's in the Caribbean, in Portugal, in Abu Dhabi. He said in a statement announcing that he was going to leave the country that I have been King of Spain for almost 40 years, and for all of them, I have always wanted the best for Spain and the best for the crown.
All right, well, definitely keep us posted on this one. Stephanie, so much fun globetrotting with you. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you, my pleasure.
Okay, it's time for a quick break, but the Royal Reports will be right back. Welcome back to the show. Joining us now, the co-host of the Royally Obsessed podcast, Rachel Bowie. Rachel, thank you so much for being here. How you doing?
Thank you for having me. I'm doing good.
Awesome to see you. Now, it's been 2 weeks since Finding Freedom. Harry and Meghan and the making of a modern royal family hit bookshelves, and I'm sure I'm not the only royal watcher who's still totally obsessed with it. Rachel, what did you think overall of Omid Scobie and Carolyn Durand's tell-all book?
So I absolutely loved it. I feel like all nearly 400 pages of it. It's such a page turner. Congrats to Omid and Carolyn. I feel like what I thought was so interesting is that it's both romantic and gut wrenching at the same time. You know, it's so easy to get caught up in their relationship and the fairy tale aspects of it at the beginning, only to feel so saddened by how everything really played out. You know, the media infiltration into their lives and the fact that they were really powerless to do anything about it.
Well, I'm sure we could probably talk for hours about all the revelations that were shared in the book, but I'd love to know which parts have you personally been royally obsessing over?
So I really enjoyed all the detail in particular about William and Harry's relationship. I think that as a world, we're so protective of that. I love the section about when William first met Meghan and how Meghan totally expected to be grilled by William, but instead William was really delighted to meet her and shared how he couldn't wait to talk with the girl that put a grin on his brother's face. You know, it kind of painted such a warm picture of their first encounter. The book also talked a lot about how William's comment to Harry saying, you know, take as much time as you need to get to know this girl really hurt Harry, but it also over explains how the fact that they're brothers and that they'll always be brothers.
Yeah, I thought Finding Freedom did a great job of showing how they're really just two different people on different paths right now, which is not abnormal amongst siblings as they grow up, royal or not.
Yeah, exactly. I think it really, the book Finding Freedom really makes it possible to see both William and Harry's sides. It's actually really balanced in that sense. And it also, I thought that this detail, the fact that, you know, William actually is known, according to Finding Freedom, to be more calm and level-headed, whereas Harry can run a little hot and be more sensitive. I mean, I think that that's, you know, sibling dynamics to a T in a lot of ways. Based on how inseparable William and Harry were pre-Meghan, I'm sure that really looking into that comment, William's unconditional approval is truly all that Harry really wanted. But at the same time, William was just really acting the overprotective big brother. And Harry and Meghan's relationship, we know, especially from the book, that it did move quite fast.
Especially as William and Kate, it took them 8 or 9 years to get married.
Yeah, that one was a very slow moving. So very, you know, direct contrast to what William's experience was with dating.
Exactly. Now, the book shares details on a number of royal relationships. What's another one that had you totally fascinated?
So I think, you know, just Meghan's relationship with her father, Thomas Markle, that was a really heartbreaking section for me to read. And there's a lot of detail in the book about that. I think mainly because, you know, Thomas really was such a meaningful part of Meghan's life throughout, you know, all growing up. I mean, he really advocated for her. He also, you know, he was the one that encouraged her to use her voice for change. Remember the dishwashing soap commercial? You know, he was the one that told her to write the letter. Also, you know, I loved this detail that he actually bought a variety of Barbie dolls to kind of put together a set that mirrored her biracial family so that she didn't feel different. And with Doria, he fought to make sure she had every opportunity for her education. So he really did so much on her behalf, and that stood out so much reading that.
It makes it even more heartbreaking to read about their relationship deteriorating at one of the most important times in Meghan's life. You wouldn't have expected this knowing how close they were previously.
I know, exactly. And I think it just goes to show how unrelenting the media was, and, you know, within his life. I think a paparazzi, the book explains that a member of the paparazzi moved next door to him. So for over 2 years of their courtship, he really kind of was just completely worn down, to the point that he finally broke and gave countless interviews and did that staged photo shoot ahead of her wedding. But what really upset me in the book was just seeing how much, you know, Meghan really found out in those final days leading up to the wedding, so many details via the media, like the fact that about her father's health, and also that he wouldn't attend the royal wedding. I think that all was so gut-wrenching. But the part that really broke my heart in the book was when, you know, it's the night before her big royal wedding, and she is saying to a friend via FaceTime, I can't just stay up all night clicking send. You know, she wasn't hearing back from her dad, and it was the only thing she wanted, and so she had to let it go. And that just felt so awful. It's the night before your wedding.
I know, I can't imagine having to go through that on such a big night, and all
Such
the stress surrounding the wedding. And not just any wedding, the wedding.
The wedding, yeah. Exactly.
All right, Rachel, we've got time to discuss one more complex relationship.
So this is kind of a more like, you know, a broader relationship, but Meghan's relationship to the monarchy. Yes, Finding Freedom is incredibly pro Meghan, but it really paints a picture of just how much she tried to make everything work. You know, we hear details about the 2-day kidnapping training she went through, which is typical for royals, but, you know, she went all in and did it, which sounded terrifying. She carried binders around studying up about royal protocol. She was commonly seen carrying them. And the Queen even acknowledged her exemplary efforts when it came to studying up. And I know the book also mentioned that she was really dedicated and quick study and that kind of thing. But, you know, the ITV interview where she says she never thought it would be easy, but she thought it would be fair. You know, the media just never gave her a break. And, you know, also Finding Freedom, I loved the, you know, the revelation from Omid and Carolyn that, you know, she shared once she finally was making her exit, that she gave up her entire life for the family and she was willing to do what it takes. But here we are, and it's very sad. I think all of that just, you know, that was right before they were March. They weren't senior royals anymore. So all of that was really sad to read.
Yeah, and as you said, we see in Finding Freedom, the media really had a tremendous impact on that dynamic between Meghan and the monarchy. Absolutely.
I really think the book paints such a great picture of all that. And the media was unrelenting, but Meghan and Harry had to follow the never complain, never explain mantra that is common to the family. So that takes a toll, as Meghan described.
Yeah, and for someone who is so outspoken, if she sees something wrong, she'll speak out about it. It was particularly tough for Meghan.
Yeah, to lose her voice, it's hard. I totally relate to that, or understand what she must have been going through.
Totally. All right, Rachel, before we go, tell us what you've got coming up on Royally Obsessed.
So this week on the podcast, we have a really wonderful interview with the CEO of the Diana Award, Tessie Ojo. She's talking about Prince Harry's speech from earlier this summer at the annual awards. And we're also digging into the latest royal news, like the Princess Diana casting announcement for The Crown. I'm very excited about that.
Me too. I will be listening for sure. Rachel, thank you so much for being here. Hope to have you back on the show very soon.
Thank you.
The Royal Reports will be right back. Welcome back. It's time now for our social media minute with our social media correspondent, Jillian Simon. Jillian, how you doing?
Hi, Sharon. I'm great. Good to see you.
So what do you have for us today?
What great post this week. Last Tuesday, the Clarence House Instagram page posted videos of Prince Charles raising the standard in a small ceremony to mark the Bachelor Highland Games, which were postponed this year. The games have been held in Bachelor since 1864, and besides war years, they've taken place uninterrupted. The post also included a video and photos from Charles's attendance at the games in previous years. Can't wait to see the return of this special event. Last Wednesday, the royal family's Twitter page posted these flashback images from 75 years ago of King George VI and his wife, Queen Elizabeth, who we know as the Queen Mother today, attending a service of Thanksgiving after the Allies' victory over Japan. The ceremony took place at St. Paul's Cathedral, which saw its high altar hit during the Blitz. It remained standing though and was a symbol of resilience and courage during wartime. So glad the page spotlighted this very important time in history. And finally, this past Friday, the Duchess of Cornwall shared her summer reading list on the Clarence House Instagram story. She provided a personal comment for each of her picks and noted that she hoped they provided a welcome bit of escapism. Earlier this year, she shared a list of her favorite books for those self-isolating, and it's great to see her continuing to promote reading at all ages. And that's your social media minute.
You know, Gillian, there was another social post I saw this weekend that I wanted to ask you about. I'm guessing this has something to do with your new last name, which I'm sure our viewers noticed earlier when I introduced you. So please tell us more about these gorgeous pictures.
Thank you so much. I got married last weekend to my now husband, Eli, here at home in New York. It was a very intimate ceremony with our family, and we couldn't be happier.
Congratulations. Can't wait to celebrate with you in person, hopefully soon. Great stuff today, Gillian. Thank you so much.
Me too. Thanks, Sharon.
All right, now this month happens to be the 7th anniversary of a seldom discussed but fondly remembered speech given by a 31-year-old prince who'd recently become a father. Enjoy.
I know that I speak for Catherine when I say that I've never in my life known somewhere as beautiful and as welcoming as Anglesey.
On August 14th, 2013, the Duke of Cambridge delivered a heartfelt speech at the Anglesey Agricultural Show. The address was the Prince's fond farewell to the Welsh island of Anglesey, where he and Kate had lived for the past 3 years, while William was serving as a pilot for the RAF Search and Rescue Force.
Diolch yn fawr Mirig. Diolch von Wision.
The prince spoke to the crowd in their native Welsh before commenting on his latest role as a first-time father.
I have to say that I thought search and rescue duties over Snowdonia were physically and mentally demanding, but looking after a 3-week-old baby is right up there.
The Anglesey Agricultural Show was one of William's last engagements before he and his family moved to Kensington Palace, where he would resume his royal duties.
This island has been our first home together, and it will always be an immensely special place for us both.
All right, Royal Watchers, that's our show for today. Remember to follow People on Twitter to watch the latest episodes of The Royal Report, streaming every Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. Eastern. I'm Sharon Carpenter. Stay safe, keep calm, and carry on.